it's just a logical consequence of Allah creating all of the things. Huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. That would imply that all the things that can exist as a thing will be everything that is not Allah, because Allah is not a thing. He is uncreated. And that would imply that actions, concepts, principles, pretty much anything would be created as we would understand. And actually, it's not even, I'm pretty sure this is a mainstream belief of Islam, which is extraordinary, actually. I've never seen a system other than Islam attempt to even elaborate on God's attributes like this. But I think it was Al-Ghazali that said basically, yeah, Allah created your actions, but you still have to perform them, right? So you think of it like, if you're in a video game, right? There's some things you can't actually interfere with that are part of the video game. You have to go through this level, you have to go down this path to get to the next level. And video games now are so immersive that it's practically analogous to our world. It's not the same, but it's you know, it's easier to see how a simulation would work. However, once you're in the free to explore phase, you know, of the game, however long that is, you can, you know what I mean? That's where you have choice and you get to choose. Like, I'll give you a good example. In Red Dead Redemption, right? The second one of the greatest games of all time, by far. You have so much freedom in that game, yet there's still a cohesive story. And it's supposed to be like a prequel to Red Dead 1. There's a part you reach when, like, you complete a chapter and it gives you the backstory, and then you find yourself like in a new location, you know, in the map. And the map actually becomes unlocked as you advance in the story. So then once you're at this checkpoint, then you basically can just do whatever you like. You want to make, you know, you want to hunt some rabbits, or you want to go into town, buy some new boots. You want to, you know, take your horse out. You want to help someone on the side of the road. There's so many different, like, diversions that you have the free will to explore in between the story. And that's kind of where we are now. It's like we're just in such a immersive world where I can talk to you from across the world using this, you know, these devices and stuff. We have the ability to do so much more than what a game can offer. It's that intricate. But at the end of the day, there's still a story, and nobody will change that. And actually, the story is elaborated on, and we're actually choosing to discuss the story with our free will. The actions being created doesn't violate the principle of free will, because there are so many options within your degrees of freedom that you can choose to choose this created action or this one. You see, it's kind of like that ayah I posted. It's not you who threw, except Allah threw. How does that work? Allah creates whatever He wills. Isa created this thing with Allah's permission. But do you know what's interesting is, on the two different accounts in the Qur'an where it talks about Isa doing his miracles, right? Like, one of them is him speaking, first person, from his perspective as a human being. And the other one is Allah speaking from the perspective of obviously him, talking about Isa. There's actually a distinction, and this is an underappreciated distinction, I'll tell you right now. Isa says that he brings people to life that were dead. Allah says about Isa what's actually happening. He is discharging the souls back into the body. That's actually what's going on. I think the word is kharaj. It's not people being brought to life from Allah's perspective. He's beyond these concepts. But from Isa, he's in the creation, he's a human like us. That's what he sees, he observes that. So that's a very small point to show you that the Qur'an actually accounts for every possibility. And it proves it has a divine origin, because what person would dissociate their humanity so much to create such a, truly God perspective? If we're to imagine that God is the author, right? The Bible does not have that. The hadith does not have that. They talk about concepts that could very well be, these kind of beings that are a little bit more complex than humans as gods. The Quran, it's so much, it's actually the entire thing itself and everything in our world outside of it, that it's constantly referencing it, is a lasting proof of its divine authorship. And it's not just divine and, this is, some spirits or devils. No. Those things are not divine, actually. They're just unseen. It's like if jinn were to think we're divine. It's like if we were to think angels are divine. What is there? What is there really? Except Allah gives it authority and power, and that's what I understand the articles of faith, la ilaha illa Allah. They never pronounce that correctly, by the way, for a reason. There is no divinity except of Allah. Whatever way you want to look at that, it always comes back to the same thing. He's the prime mover, the first necessary absolute cause. No contingency except from him. He is not contingent. He is uncreated, absolute. So the whole concept of free will is just really a red herring, because when we talk about free will, it's basically about the things that are personal preferences. They don't actually affect the world. We can't change the weather. We can't, create natural phenomena. We can't do basically anything of lasting substance. And that's where the messengers come in. They're human beings like us. And the only reason they affect the world is because Allah is on their side and He's actually empowering them. They come by a sultan, right? Because they're part of the story. They have plot armor. They can't just be killed for no reason. Whatever they choose to do in their own life, that's part of their free will. I imagine they're human beings like us. They have so many things. It's never went into the Qur'an because it's already covered by the important things. Just like the sunnah of the Prophet is not in the Qur'an, because it's already understood. What would the sunnah of the Prophet be? Would it be anything like any human wouldn't do of their own accord? Personal preferences do not have impact on the story. And that's why it's amazing that they made Islam, I specifically iterate it as Islam, not Islam, all about that shit, all about that crap, because they don't want to imagine that it's beyond that. When it's clear, it clearly is. Clearly, it's the story of the universe. The construct of reality. That's what Islam is. No less than that. It pre-exists humans, pre-exists jinn, pre-exists existence as the creation itself. It's actually a created thing at the end of the day. Allah created Islam. Allah created everything that is created. So that would include actions.